Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas as it's Christmas Eve today. And I wanted to just cover a topic of how to combine your compound movements and your isolation movements together to make them work properly as part of a program. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Last week I did a video both on the closed grip bench press, and then I did a video on skull crushers and how to recruit the long head a lot more in that movement than you normally would as part of my explanation of how to do the movement correctly. And I had also pointed out in the closed grip bench press video that the long head of the tricep is usually the most neglected on a closed grip or any press in general. And then people started asking me, well, wait a minute, does this mean that they will work really well together? And the answer is yes. And I'm going to link those videos down in the comments below for those of you on your phones who can't click the links here. It's also been noted a few people have said that my approach, I seem very much like an old school bodybuilder with modern exercise science and modern nutritional science knowledge. And that is very much how I think of myself. I personally think the old school bodybuilders in the pre-steroid era and in the era where they were still using very, very small amounts, I think these guys had basically figured out the fundamentals of training, and I think a lot of them knew more about training fundamentals than a lot of your pro bodybuilders and even pro so-called natural bodybuilders today. And I think that for most people it's going to be difficult to improve upon that knowledge. And what a lot of that entails is a heavy focus on heavy compound barbell movements, a lot of full body type routines. Guys back then didn't really do body part splits, guys who had very impressive physiques even by today's standards. These guys were all strong as well as aesthetic, that they had a heavy focus on performance and form and function working together, or more of form following function than form over function, which is a lot of what bodybuilding has become today. So my general view is that if you want to get big efficiently, you do need to get stronger. You do need to focus on heavy compound movements, and that your compound movements should account for almost all of your muscle size. And you should care about how much your chest pressing actually impacts your upper chest. I had some people comment that I don't care about my upper chest being worked on my shoulder day. And to me, when someone says something like that, this is a person who doesn't understand biomechanics. They don't understand muscle growth or muscle protein synthesis. This is a person who really shouldn't be writing their own programs if they honestly think that way, because they're going to end up shortchanging themselves massively on their growth. And it's going to take them longer to achieve their goals with that sort of mindset. You should be concerned about what other muscles get stimulated from any compound outside of the primary movers that you're doing it for, because that's what contributes to overall growth. And you should have a heavy focus on compound movements that utilize as many extra muscles as possible, particularly big muscles. And then the role of the isolation movements is not to be your primary builders of your muscle mass and the target muscles. It should be the way it was seen in the old days of their refinement movements. And I don't mean refinement in the sense that they make that muscle more ripped, because that is a product of fluid balance, muscle density from drugs people take, and primarily body fat. So it's not about how you train. So what I mean by that is to bring up some aspect of the muscle or work the muscle in a way that it can't be worked with a compound movement. Such as when I was discussing the triceps, since the closed grip bench press is a tremendous overall tricep builder, but it leaves the long head a little lagging, coming in and taking a very efficient isolation movement like a skull crusher, which is a great mass builder, and tweaking it in a way so that it puts a heavier focus on the long head of the tricep, which was neglected on the closed grip bench press. It lets you use that movement to refine and finish what the closed grip bench press didn't do for that muscle. And it should be that way with all of your isolation movements. You shouldn't need 3 or 4 isolation movements for a given muscle. You need to pick isolation movements that in some way enhance or make up for what your compound movements didn't achieve for the muscle, so that you fix the problem and you fix muscle imbalances. Or they need to be used for when you have a muscle that just isn't getting enough stimulation from your compound movements and it's lagging behind. Then you go in and you do extra isolation movements to get it caught back up, rather than seeing the isolation movements as the primary builders. They are secondary lifts to bring up characteristics or to fix weak points or prevent weak points, and using the actual compound movements to build most of your muscle mass. It's far faster and far more efficient to do it that way. Alright guys, that's all I have to say on that today. I hope this has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.